Hi everyone, I am Sam, and in this video we're going to be taking a quick look back at the track we've been working on in this series and adding just a few finishing touches in the form of some other free plugins from the Hitmaker expansion from the generous people at Focusrite. First up, I'm going to be adding addictive keys into the track, probably in just the first half, and I'm going to be using the Mark I stage piano. That's the one I chose to redeem when I got my code from the Hitmaker expansion, and it sounds like this. In my opinion, one of the coolest sounds in the whole universe, so let's add it into the tune. Okay, next, one thing I think this track will really benefit from is some bass. If you happen to have an actual bass guitar, you can of course plug that straight into the Focusrite interface and record it just like we did our 6-string guitars. But what I'm going to do is actually dive into the plugin expansion a bit more, and I'm going to use the Oberhausen Synth, and I'm going to set up a synth bass. This is going to be a pretty basic bass line, it's just going to be following some root notes, but let's check it out. Believe it or not, we haven't even spoken about some of the most high-value plugins in the Hitmaker expansion at this stage, and those are the plugins that are going to take our quick little demo we've been recording with all these different guitar tones and parts and turn it into a much more professional sounding recording. For this section of the video, I'm going to be highlighting the Brainworx Master Desk, which is essentially going to listen to all of our audio and just bring everything up and glue it all together. I've also been mixing the track a little bit in Ableton, so some things are panned left and right, and with the help of Master Desk, all that is just going to have more of an impact and generally sound more professional. I wasn't sure what the best way to demo this would be, since generally you'd make lots of little incremental adjustments to stuff as you go with this. So what I'm going to do is hop over to Ableton, I will talk through what I've done in Master Desk, and then I'm going to toggle it on and off while listening to the track we've been working on, and hopefully at home you'll be able to hear the huge difference that it's making to the general warmth and quality of the entire track. Let's have a listen. Okay, all I've done to make use of this plugin, like the others really, is I've found it in the plugins drop down in Ableton and I've pulled it specifically into the master track. This means it's going to be listening to all the other tracks in our project and it's going to be applying its magic onto all of them. That's why the guitars and the bass and the drums are hopefully going to sound much more cohesive and together when we apply this plugin to everything. As far as the actual adjustments I've made on the plugin itself, I've upped this output trim a bit, I've also upped this volume. And I really like this, there's a tone section. So I've increased the bass, which is hopefully going to warm things up a little bit. I've also completely cranked the presence. I actually found this really helps bring out those guitars, especially that Marshall sound from the Softube plugin. Lastly, I've increased the stereo enhancer, and this just makes that whole track sound a bit wider and richer as we go. Now I'm going to play the track, and I'm going to start with this plugin turned off. You can see the toggle over here, so you'll know when I'm doing it, but I'm also going to shout. So let's play the track, and we'll toggle it on and off as we go. Let's toggle it on. And then back off. And then back on. Let's add one more finishing touch from the Hitmaker expansion in the form of the LX480 from Relab Development. I think I'd like this first half of my track to sound as airy and dreamy as possible, and the LX480 plugin nails that with some cool 80s style reverbs. In order to really blend the guitars and keys together from the first section, I've created a bus track with the LX480 plugin pulled in, and I'm going to send the clean guitar, the edge of breakup guitar, and the keys to this track to all receive the same nice reverb. This should help bring them all together, like 3 musicians jamming in the same room. This is how our track sounds without any of the reverb dialed in. of the reverb. Very nice. Now that we've recorded some great guitar tones and spent some time adding the finishing touches to our track, let's export it so we can share it or upload it. Head on over to File and then down to Export Audio. Once we're here, we can choose, for example, the bars we want to export. I'm going to choose from bar 1 to bar 23, which gives me a bit of leeway with my track that I've recorded. We can also do things like choose what type of file we want to export. I'm going to choose WAV. Once we're all done, hit export and we're good to go. I hope you found this guitar-driven dive into the Hitmaker expansion useful. We have covered guitar tones, drums, keys, synths, pedals, reverbs, and mastering, and we have barely scratched the surface of what's possible with this incredibly generous bundle of plugins from the good people at Focusrite. Thank you so much everyone for watching, and don't forget to keep an eye on Focusrite.com for more videos featuring the Hitmaker expansion in future. I am Sam, take it easy.